Hey man, if you you watch the guys who were doing this until their like 40s and 50s in some cases in like the era's gone by. We're talking the guys from the NWA and Smoky Mountain era stuff. Their bumping became a little less sort of attack the mat and more like I guess realistic. Like I guess it's kind of the new thing where everyone's watching MMA and things like that. And I think that's a great insight into what it really means to get kicked in the face. All these people that have never been punched in the mouth in their life, they're the ones that don't see a problem with the young bucks doing 200 super kicks. But if you get smacked in the mouth, you can respect the smack in the mouth. You know what it means. You know how much it hurts, and you know it's going to drop you.
It's good. Good snap. Good snap. It's good. Good snap.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Good Snap podcast. I'm Chris Zorba, and with me, like always, my tag team partner, Xander Rose.
Hello.
Xander, how you going?
Good, buddy. Good. We got the big man on today. Can't wait.
Yeah, we've got a special guest. He's been around for a while. Probably a veteran in the ring. We got the Tyson Gibbs with us. Tyson, how are you going?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm quite well. How's things?
Very good, buddy. Very good. How you been?
Yeah.
Good, man. Big day, but made it here on time. Hopefully everything's working out all right on my end. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for fitting us in your schedule. Yeah, we appreciate that. We know you're busy, so it's good to have you on here. We want to go through a few questions because we would like to get some background of who we're interviewing and how they got started and all that information. And it's good to get background of Aussie wrestlers that maybe people don't know of. When did you start watching wrestling? Actually, I should say.
Probably as long as I can remember, man. I guess it's like everyone sort of plugs into it at various times. Mine was, during that sort of late 80s, early 90s time. So I'm talking about that sort of slide down where like Hogan and the Macho Man into like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and things like that. So that was the era that I was familiar with and what sort of like what I think of when I think of wrestling.
Yeah, so going down to the video store. Video Easy, I bet ya. Where is it? we always take a bet. We're like,
yes.
Is it going to be Video Easy,
yes.
Civic Video, or getting the video cassette tapes, eh?
Yeah, we were video Easy in my town, yeah.
So, buddy, how did you get into the industry?
I got into the industry. I started with IWA, where I did most of my work. So with Mark Mercedes and. I guess, Mike Mercedes was my first trainer, and the present day Robbie Zuko, Rob Matrix, whoever, that's the guy. I started with those guys and sort of learned the basics from there. And I guess I was like 21, 22, and I feel like it was at the time quite a different sort of landscape. I mean, I don't know what it's like for young guys now, but I know that when I was coming in, you come in and you learn your bits and pieces, and then you get thrown in pretty early and you get the absolute shit kicked out of you. And that's where you learn. That's where you learn what to do, what not to do, the right way to do things.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, actually. Jump in the deep end.
Yeah, I think so.
Which wrestlers would be on your Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore. I mean, obviously other than myself, right? I think it's pretty sort of standard for our era, boys. Like, I think we'd all probably answer pretty similar. But for me, first and foremost, most prominent guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously. Undertaker. Yeah. I guess you got to put Hulk Hogan on there as well, being as important as he is. What do we got? 4 faces on Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
We'll come back to the 4th, but those are the 3 that I'd put there for sure. Maybe The Rock as well. We'd have to maybe make it a 5-face Mount Rushmore, But I feel like there's one very important one that I'm forgetting right now. You know?
The Nature
How
Boy.
about you boys?
Easy. I'd go.
There we
probably-
go. There
I'd
it
probably
is.
go the Bella twins, Eva Marie. Nah. Yeah, nah. That's probably
That's three.
Normally, yeah, I'll probably pick the same. Like, you know, it's always got to be Stone Cold. It's the Attitude Era that we were watching it at our time. So, and I'd probably pick Sting. Is up there. That's one of my faves.
Mm.
And Tyson, your gimmick, like what inspired that?
Gimmick. What do you mean gimmick?
So,
Huh?
Real life.
Gimmick. That's a cheap trinket. That's a novelty. I don't know what you're talking about. What's a gimmick?
what inspired your outfit, the character you are? What inspired that, mate?
I think that, for lack of a better sort of explanation, the inspiration is just what I am, who I am, what I like to do. I don't know. I feel like you can see when there's guys that are trying to sort of, like
Put it
different fighters and sports people and stuff. They're trying to imitate and emulate their idols and things like that. But ultimately, I don't know. I'm sure that there's plenty of that in there. But ultimately, there's one thing I sort of pride myself on is when Tyson's out there, you look at something real. And yeah, maybe that's why I never got a job with WWE.
I think Xander said he got to see you live. I missed that show at the Campsie show for EWA.
EWA.
So unfortunately I missed
Right,
that.
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I did watch a match of yours on YouTube actually, because the journo I am becoming, because I just started this. I actually I'm doing some background work, which is watching wrestling matches. And yeah, I've seen one that you had with I think it was Mikey Lord at one of the IWA shows, I believe.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So I was on YouTube and I had a quick look at that. But I didn't get to see you live. But my trainer, because I trained at Vulcans, and he was saying he loved your thing that you're doing at the show, because he was at the show. And he liked it. He goes, you remind him of one of our guys that we train with, which is Tony Cruz.
Okay.
And he goes, it's very similar. I don't know if you've heard of Cruz before, but yeah, he's really good in the ring, and he's got that arrogant sort of, character.
Come on, man. Oh, I didn't know we were going to insult each other, gentlemen. My word.
So, yeah, he goes, he really enjoyed you seeing the ring and what you do, and yeah, he was actually like, yeah, he talked highly of you, of your match that you had. So did Xander. He didn't shut up about it for like a week.
Hey, Xander must know what's up, huh?
And
No, he was saying it was good. He loved it.
And Tyson, can I say something? Was that like, how long was it between drinks? How long did you have? You had a little gap, didn't you, that you weren't wrestling?
Well, yeah. Trying to figure that out. On the night, I was sitting and talking with a few fellas, and we were like, geez, this might be like the first match you've had in like about 4 years. I feel like there was one in there. I feel like there was like a tag team match at IWA, maybe in 2019, I want to say. But yeah, a long time at least, like a very long time. I've been doing other stuff in the meantime, with martial arts and stuff like that. So to actually come back into the wrestling ring and to sort of get back into that world, like, one thing I will say is that bout with Apollo at EWA, I felt like myself.
Yeah.
I felt like I was back in it, and I felt like, just unless someone's sort of been in the ring and performed and I hate that word performed, but so you've been in the ring in front of people, You don't know what I mean, but like you just feel at home, and I felt at home when I did this one-off sort of tag team match with IWA. It kind of felt off. Maybe it wasn't the right time, but coming back now, I felt like it's really, really the right time, and it flowed. Maybe, I mean, probably, yeah. Let's just say definitely there was some rust, but I mean, it felt good. It felt good to be back. It really excited me to come back and do a whole lot more. So, if there's anyone out there looking to book someone who is going to do you a fantastic job on your events, get in touch. Let's talk. Let's book. Let's make stuff happen, huh?
And Apollo, he's a good worker too. He's got the look about him too. I've seen him live before. He's really good too in the ring. Probably good opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing, right? Like when you're working with people, particularly like I really want to endeavor to do things in like a really sort of organic and sort of traditional sort of way, I suppose, for lack of a better phrase, but like perfect guy to come back. Like after all this time, like I said, it felt so long removed. It felt like about 4 years since I'd had a match, but being there and, with Apollo and everything, piece of cake, man. Piece of cake.
Have you worked Apollo before? Like you've worked in the ring with like heaps of like Aussie talent. So have you worked with Apollo before? And
yeah, we've tagged together.
Okay. Has he been your favorite, or have you got someone else that's your favorite opponent?
He's up there. I think my favorite guy to mix it up with. I mean, it's always good. Like I felt like I've had good sort of chemistry. We bounce off each other really well with Zuko, with Robbie Zuko, who I had a match with at IWA, like a week or two after EWA. And before that, our last singles match was in 2006. So that was a long time between drinks on that one. And but I mean, as far as people in the country, he's one of the best still. I mean, I'm not going to comment on his age without his permission, but he's still one of the best out there at whatever age he is. Roll.
43, 44. Anyway.
Yeah, something like that, right? I know how old I am. So we could just go off that.
No, nice, man. Yeah, he's another person I like to actually to see in the ring and perform.
So did you say you are in the process of learning yourself?
No, I have wrestled like at Vulcans for 5 years. I've been training and we've done a few shows here and there. I used to wrestle for AWE. Started there, then Vulcan opened up his fed, VCW. So that's I wrestle for them, but now too many injuries, so I've stopped. Xander.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we've both been in the ring before, so that's why we like doing this and bringing the wrestlers on, so people can watch this and get the knowledge of the wrestlers behind the scenes, and
The other thing is too, Tyson, is that we're undefeated tag teams.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
1-0.
Go out on top, fellas. There you go. Good round figures.
No, we're killing it. We'll get back in the ring one day, but just
everyone does. Everyone gets back. Can't help it, man.
Funny?
Can't help it.
Last night at training, there was a couple of guys in the ring training, and then Volk's like, "Oh, do you want to get in there? Just do some rolls." And we're like, "Yeah, all right. I'll go in there for a little bit." And you get the feel of it, and you're like, "Nah, I hate this shit." But I'm like, you know what? You sort of miss it. You miss it deep down.
What's your take on where things were when you started and where it's going? Like, what do you feel the vibe is? Because I have my own opinions.
Yeah.
But what do you guys feel like? Maybe even wrestling in general, compared to where we were when we started, when we got into it, when we had our Austins and Rocks and Takers and things like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel the same.
Nah. See, that's my thing. Yeah. That's my gripe from the beginning. Like, I like, the Benoits, all those sort of guys. I like the chain wrestling, and now it's getting to the high flying, like a lot of high flying, a lot of power bombs, big moves that aren't finishes.
Mhm.
I like to watch I
Mhm.
like the matches where, the
Yeah.
guys start off, tell a story to get to that finisher, like the Stone Colds and stuff like that. I remember
Yep.
watching Stone Cold and The Rock. They were trying to get the stunner, then the rock bottom, then the stunner. It wouldn't work until one of them got that move, and that was the finish.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's my opinion on
Yeah.
it. Now, I don't like the new product that much. I like the older stuff.
Oh man, there's
What
so
about
many
you?
guys there's so many guys fucking absolutely killing the business. Like, it's like you say, man. Like, how many of the people in our Mount Rushmore ever, jumped off the top rope, through tables, and lit each other on fire, and fucking, you know,
Yeah,
there's a reason for that. There's a reason for
yeah,
that. And like, I've had this conversation with other wrestlers and stuff like that. Generally, people who consider themselves like new school or whatever, or indie or whatever. Indie is fucking, it's a way of saying we're not good enough to be on television, so let's do 200 moves because we're like jacking off for 30 people, and it's it just, I don't know, man. I don't know that maybe I'm just not a flips guy, and maybe this is just my way of being jealous and wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm right on this, and I think that like there was a reason that we all got into it in the first place, and that was we were all buying what they were selling, and what they're trying to sell to us is these personalities who fucking hate each other, who want to beat the shit out of each other and do.
yeah,
Now it's like whenever I think of everything that's wrong with business at the moment, I can't help but keep on harping on about these young bucks and everyone of that ilk, where they're doing 200 flips and pile drivers and all this sort of stuff. And
Can I just say something? Can I
I
say
don't know. I
something?
can't watch it. It bores the shit out of me. Go on.
I understand. No, I understand. I understand where coming. I do watch AEW, and I understand what you're saying. The athleticism they have, for example, is really good, right?
yeah,
It's unbelievable, the athleticism, and the move set's good. And I understand they do 200 moves in like 5 seconds and all that stuff, right? What the worst part about that is like, for example, the super kicks, which was Sweet Chin Music for Shawn Michaels, it gets flogged to death. Like they'll do like Canadian Destroyer like through a table, and they'll kick out at 2.
Yeah.
These are the things that are killing it, in my perspective.
Agreed.
Where like if you're going to do a move, that's like say a Canadian Destroyer off the top rope into a table, it's got to be the end. Do you know what I mean? So there's things like that where I understand, but at the same time, I still think that they do have, if they do it right, it ends up being a really entertaining match. No, I understand what you're saying. It's too much is sometimes not good enough, or not a not good thing.
Yeah.
But if they do it right, it does end up being a good match. Yeah. But the Bucks.
Yeah, but you're isolated there. Like, doing it well is not doing it too much. Not doing it every fucking match. Not like taking your 200 super kicks. I mean, it's almost like there's stuff out there at the moment that is just to pop the boys in the back. Like, oh, did you see how many super kicks we did? Wasn't that hilarious? Okay, all right, but like, what's the long goal there? Where do we end up in another 10 years of that? What's the next level of that? What do you have to do to top that, to keep people watching?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. I don't think they are.
The thing is, you got to what's going to happen next? What are you going to do next to the wow factor? So the moves they're getting like dumb and dumber. Like they're just every time. It's just so That's why I don't watch the news shoot. I watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it's
not too bad.
Yeah, but it's not the moves that they're doing. It's the fact that they're selling. Like they'll cop a big move and they won't sell that move. So it diminishes that move. So it's like what you said. How many times can you see him cop a Sweet Chin Music or a super kick, and then like get up and he's doing a maneuver? Like, how is that possible? Where Shawn Michaels, that was his finisher. That's what doesn't make sense to me. But it's one of those things. I don't know.
What I think? I think it's because these guys just aren't big enough badasses to put a guy down with one move. I think if you can't put a guy down with, one or two of your best moves, takes 15 and you're still only getting 2 counts, just be sweet, that's all. And that's fine. It just means I'm going to come in and beat the fuck out of you.
I was watching one of those indie shows once, and I seen a guy take a power bomb off the top rope. The guy rolled out of it, got up, and gave the guy a super kick. I'm like, and then it was a 2 count. I'm like, how? I'm like,
and then how many people were in the crowd? How many people were in the crowd?
There was probably about 15, 20.
Oh, really? Wow. I was going to say maybe 100 or so.
Sold out arena.
Wow. But they would have got up. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's like a thing to that sort of. There's different types of fans. There always has been, but we've got this new type of fan that's like, I know what's going on. I'm on the gimmick. I know what's happening. Don't worry about me. I know how the magician does his tricks, and they enjoy being smart. Like, yeah. Oh, good athleticism. Fuck athleticism. Have me forget about where I am. Have me forget about reality for a moment, and you teach me about this new universe you're creating and forcing me to be a part of because you're selling it so well.
Yeah.
There's still people that do it. I think that they're the biggest draws.
I can just go in there, tell a story. Like, you're telling a story to the people. So that's my thing. I like the old stuff. I like how they used to try and get to the finisher. That was the whole point of the wrestling. Now it's just, there's too much moves and it's just,
There's someone right now that I really enjoy watching, and that's Randy Orton, who does like minimal things, but when he does it, it's just like, and I really enjoy him wrestle. I know it's a bit out of the thing, but I don't know. I just really like Randy Orton.
But Randy Orton's got that old school sort of method though. Mentality.
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah.
So that's why he's good to watch nowadays compared to everyone, like some other people that are in there.
So, Bud, I mean, what's the most rewarding thing about being a wrestler?
Doing high-flying flips.
It's not, in my capacity, not money. That's for sure. The most rewarding thing, I think, is when you feel the energy in the room change, when you are there, you're so swept up in what you're doing, you're believing it, and then they're believing it. And, this actually is probably the most rewarding thing. In a nutshell, it's an example of what I would call it, is when I was much younger, more sort of babyface dude, and I was fighting for my life in a sharpshooter or something like that. I'm crawling towards the ropes, and I can see like a little girl in the front row there, and I'm reaching out for the ropes, trying to get out of there, and like, and I called out to her, I go, help, and she started crying. I think that's when I realized like, that's working. That's what I'm talking about. Man, I think there's whatever it is. I don't even know how else to describe it, but it's energy. We're moving energy around. We're sort of, what do you call it? Making emotion and everything like that. That's why we loved it. That's why we got into it in the first place, because it hit us here. You got to hit people here. I'm all for the athletes. The athletes are great. Do as many flips as you like, boys. Just don't do it on my fucking card. For God's sake. You're making me look bad for starters because I can't keep up. But second, it's terrible.
That's right. That's what, that's what put me off coming back in the ring. Because I'm like, I'm a big guy, and now the big guys are doing the flips off the top rope, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. I'm nearly 40. I'm not going to do that. I try to do a front flip now, and I'm like, if I do a front forward flip, I'm like thinking in my head, I got a mortgage, I got 2 kids, I got a job, I can't do this. So yeah.
This guy's thinking about his mortgage while he's flying through the air. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not doing a front flip. I'm just gonna fall forward. That's it, done. Front bump.
Hey man, if you like, you watch the guys who were doing this until their like 40s and 50s in some cases in like the eras gone by. We're talking the guys from the NWA and Smoky Mountain era stuff. Their bumping became a little less sort of attack the mat and more like, I guess, realistic. You know, like I guess it's kind of the new thing where everyone's watching MMA and you know things like that. And I think that's a great insight into what it really means to get kicked in the face. You know, all these people that have never been punched in the mouth in their life, they're the ones that don't see a problem with the young bucks doing 200 super kicks. But if you smacked in the mouth, you can respect a smack in the mouth. And you know what it means. You know how much it hurts, and you know it's going to drop you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I do
That's
now.
right.
Punch, kick, and clotheslines, and that's it. You're taking the bump. I'm not doing anything. I'll take one bump.
And if you're a heel, you punch, kick, choke, and rake the ice.
That's it. Perfect. I might get back in the ring. Xander, you up for it?
Yeah, I suppose. Why not?
You boys sound ready.
Oh, yeah. Pumped.
I think you're ready.
Yeah, pumped for it. No, I can't
Go
wait.
out there and show these young fellas the way, huh?
That's it. So what's been your highlight of your wrestling career?
I mean, I would say like one of my favorite things that I got to do is do the tryout with WWE. I don't think I got particularly far or did anything particularly noteworthy, but that was a very cool experience to be able to go and do that and at least sort of, you know, get a feel for it and everything like that. And that's a cool thing, though. I think at this time in wrestling history in Australia is there's a lot of people who are there. It's good and bad, I think. It's good because it's amazing that we've created people who are, you know, noticed on the international stage. You've got a ton of Australians now who have, you know, jumped to WWE, AEW, like Japan, all that sort of stuff. It's fantastic. But by the same token, I feel like our industry here kind of suffers and it never gets to grow because like all these people that could be great foundations to make the business great here aren't here. So I don't know if I'm right about that, but I feel like, you know, maybe that's a reason that we're going to stay so indie forever. Maybe it's not, I mean, it may be one factor out of many, many, many. But, you know, England has a fairly sort of professional scene. Japan, obviously. America, obviously. Like, there's so many people who are, you know, actually making money in professional wrestling. Maybe not necessarily signed to WWE or AEW, but I think that's probably the one unfortunate thing about having so many good people here is that they end up going away, and then all those people who get so good don't actually sort of teach people who are here, and then we have to start from square one again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
They leave us and never look back, eh?
Kind of, and you can't blame them because I mean, everyone wants to go overseas. I mean, I even myself, you know, and that was cool too. I got to go over to OVW for a while and work there and everything. So yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. And if I'd got signed, there's no way I would have turned and looked back. But like, I think about it sometimes more recently now. But like, maybe we could build something here if people had something to keep them here, I guess. Maybe if the business was successful enough to actually, it has to be here first before the great, awesome talents will stay and make something. I don't know. I'm really just talking as I'm thinking right now. So
that's one of our mates left us and went overseas, and he's turned our back on. He's back on us at the moment, so he's gone.
Oh yeah, what happened there? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like, oh, help us promote, you know, get our name out there. He's like, nah, up yours.
You got to do the hard yards yourself, huh?
Get us in there. Give us a good name. So you've worked for like a few federations and stuff like that, and you've wrestled quite a few people. Are there any federations that you haven't worked for that you'd like to? And is there anyone that you'd want to get in the ring with that you haven't wrestled before?
Oh, heat. Yeah, of course. I mean, since I left and then decided to come back, I'm sure 50 new feds have started in Sydney since then. So I'm sure there's plenty to work for there. Yeah, I don't know.
Is there anyone in mind that you'd like to work with that you haven't?
I
before?
think
like
like a
any
dream
wrestlers?
opponent or something like that, we'd say.
Yeah, like maybe even a dream Aussie opponent, or because obviously, like you'd said, you Mount Rushmore before, which was you'd like to work Stone Cold, or we'd all love to do that. But someone here in Australia that you'd like to work or anything like that.
Right. I think there's a couple of guys that came sort of to IWA maybe as I was finishing up there. Guys like Jackson Kelly, I think that we could really tear it up. I think he would be. I really like everything that I see him do. And I think that would be a really good matchup in terms of styles, I guess, that complement each other. But I'm also like, the issue with being so unplugged from everything is that, like, unless it's a show or something is on the internet, I wouldn't say that I'm particularly plugged in. So like, I'll see like newer guys and stuff like that. That on a show I might be on or something like that and go, okay, cool. But I mean, like, there's some good opportunities with EWA now that I'm getting booked there. There's some guys that I wouldn't have had the chance to work with that maybe, just maybe, might happen. Who knows? Keep an eye out. And
Xander Rose.
Yeah, I'm always open to ideas.
Heard Xander Rose.
Who does?
Xander Rose.
Does he want a piece? Yeah. You want some?
Hey, big boy.
You guys know how to get in contact with me.
Hey, you might have a good rig, big boy, but I'll smack your head in the ring. Let me tell you.
You let me know. Let's get a ring. We'll make it happen. Well, actually, let's
next year.
While we're talking about there's a Volcomania. Hell, you guys have got to help me find the way to get on that show. Volcomania, just for the name. I'm there.
Yeah, it's happening next year, I think.
It's a show. It's like wrestling. You don't want to miss it. Yeah, you don't want to miss it. Once a year. And the thing is, I've already signed a deal with Vulcan. Just like the Undertaker. You know, the Undertaker used to just wrestle WrestleMania. Well, I'm just.
I do WrestleMania schedule. Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. And then when you get inducted to the Hall of Fame, they're going to give you the full hour to do your TED Talk and everything like that.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. People that I want to wrestle. You know who I never ever wrestled, never met in the ring, came very close, was I would say probably would call him an institution by this stage of Australian indie wrestling. Everyone sort of is familiar with. I think that it would be interesting to mix it up with one TNT, perhaps. Something could happen there. Indeed. Oh, pardon me. Something's happening. I just touched my screen. Yes.
Don't edit that out. Leave that in there. I like that part.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
That was TNT coming in and knocking the phone down.
That was T.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, T.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Yes, he could absolutely get it if he felt like it. And have you noticed this? Like, right? He is a legend of sorts.
He's been around for a while.
So, mate, what are your goals in the future in terms of your wrestling career?
Obviously, I'm keen just to get back and I want to get this I'd like to get things being regular, working sort of regularly, everything like that. But what I'm really get vibed on at the moment is I've had the chance to do a bit of training with people who are sort of newer and everything like that, and I had an absolute ball. I really enjoyed it. We all had I love breaking down wrestling. I love taking it apart and looking inside of it and going, what works? Why does it work? And let's put all these little pieces to work, and taking, whether it be someone who's already working and going, hey, let's tweak this and this is heading in this direction, well, let's steer it a little bit this way and make it work. I feel like maybe I'm not setting the world on fire, but I feel like up here I can sort of help other people, newer people, and like, I don't know. I feel like it's something that I really want to do a lot more of moving forward, because I don't know. That was one thing that really helped with me feeling a lot more passionate about the business after completely losing all the love I had for it. Part of it was working that match with Apollo, and then we also got to do a bit of training as well, and it was just awesome. I just really enjoyed it, and it reminded me of when I was in OVW training with Rick Rogers and the things that he would teach and the principles he would teach. It's like wrestling, everyone has their own style, everyone has their own thing that makes them good or whatever, but like, there are principles that you can exploit to make to make it better, to make it good, to make it make sense. So yeah, I love like going through that theory sort of stuff. I just love it. Yeah.
Surely you want to be a little bit selfish, and there's got to be some gold around your waist somewhere at some point, yeah?
Hey man, if there's some guy that deserves gold around his waist, it's probably me, right?
That's what I was thinking.
I've got one thing to take care of this weekend. I've got an MMA bout in Goulburn. And then after that, I don't have to weight cut anymore. So I'm going to get back to eating like I like to eat and get nice and heavy again and get back into the heavyweight picture, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I think there's going to be a vacant title there at VCW potentially. So who knows?
Oh, man. Hey, VCW. Tyson's available. These guys know how to get in touch with me. I'm sure you can too. Is someone retiring champion?
Oh, look, we can't really. I can't say any more than what I've just said then.
No, the title's vacant.
Oh,
the last guy that had
it is now.
Yeah, it's now, because the last guy was Mike Valuable. He had it, and then he lost it to a guy we had, Rusty Colt, and then he went to England. So he's actually wrestling overseas now in England. So the title is vacant at the moment.
Okay. Mike Valuable, that's a name I haven't heard in God knows how long.
Yeah. So
he was always good, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, he beat me. I wrestled him. He beat me, unfortunately. He was actually one of my favorites.
So he's good.
Yeah, he's still got it. I think it was, when was that show? I can't remember. 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, it was Christmas bash.
The Christmas one. That's right. Yeah, that was good. That was a good match. I was actually happy with that, and he's great to be in the ring with. Have you ever wrestled Mike or no?
Man, I don't think so. I think that when I can remember he was going around, it was more like the PWA. You guys might remember, there was like a time when PWA like started off and started like franchising around the country, and like they started sort of, you know what I mean? That's why I remember sort of seeing him. A lot of good guys came out of there. I mean, international like Robbie Eagles and stuff like that too. Can't say I've caught much PWA recently, but I keep seeing ads on social media, so they must be doing all right.
Yeah, I think they've
even partnered up with the West Tigers, I believe. So there's
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing something like that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
But Tyson, I mean, for any young aspiring wrestlers coming through the ranks, any advice for them?
Yes, if you are not an athlete, become one. Definitely. That's one thing that is awful. If you've ever been to a show and there is guys in t-shirts, completely out of shape with no athletic ability whatsoever and no like body awareness, that's fucking dreadful. Can't testify because I was one when I started. You know, the best thing that ever happened to me? The best thing that ever happened to me in my career, I would say, is it was pretty early on. I was at some show. It was like one of those fairground sort of shows, like at the ag show or something like that. And we were all getting around. Like there was, a few of the IWA guys, and the IWA guys were all pretty big, mean-looking dudes at the time. And I was there in my Jeff Hardy phase, I guess we'll call it, of my career. And yeah, one of these kids asked me, "Are you a wrestler?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, you don't look like one." And as heartbreaking as that was, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I realized like how important the way you present yourself, having an athletic sort of background and everything like that. You've got to do these things, guys. And another thing, and on that note, if there's something that you think you don't want to do because it's uncomfortable, too hard, takes you out of your comfort zone too much, then that's the most important thing you have to do. Whether it be weight training, and people hate doing squats, that means you're going to do squats the hardest out of the whole week. That sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And in terms of, everyone wants to present themselves in a certain way. I think it's good to watch like your favorite guys that you're a fan of and everything like that, sure, but draw inspiration from everywhere. Draw inspiration from sports and movies and TV and music and everything like that. Like, don't get tied down to the idea of trying to copy something that's already happened before. I'm sure I do subconsciously or without being aware of it, but like, I think the best stuff that you see is stuff that comes from either nowhere or somewhere that's not wrestling.
Yeah. Now you need. I think one major thing, like you said, it's like I'm a big guy. I've always been big as well, and when you get in that ring, especially when you're doing a show, because your adrenaline's pumping and stuff like that, you're going to get gassed out in a matter of minutes. So what you're saying is important to go to the gym, go to train, and you need to do that before you get in there. Like you said, the squats and stuff are all important things that you got to do before you get in that ring.
So it's one of those things where, like endurance is a big thing, and you need to be able to train as hard as you can, because, it's going to take you to that limit. Even if you have a 10-minute match, you still have to have that endurance and make sure that, you can last that 10 minutes. Because otherwise you start getting fatigued and it looks really bad. So it is very important.
Absolutely. You watch sloppy shit going on because people are tired and they can't think straight and they're not selling, and people are paying to come and see you, man. Like, put in a little bit of effort. We're not getting paid that much, but there's a reason that we're doing it, and people aren't just jumping out of the crowd to do it, because it takes something. It takes hard work. It takes like more than just being a fan, I think.
Yeah, no, it's good advice, man. So you got your MMA show obviously coming up. Would you say it was Goulburn? Do you have anything else coming up? Any other upcoming shows?
I think that EWA is talking about running in June. I think that I might be still making my Undertaker schedule appearances at IWA. I've been talking to a few other places, but like I said, I'm kind of my schedule at the moment. I was just sort of taking care of this first, and then you've got your real life, your shoot life that you have to contend with as well. So, man, I'm going to be out there as much as possible. I try and, I'm not a social media person, but I guess you can plug into Tyson Gibbs on Facebook, and that's where I'll be advertising anything that I do. But yeah, I'm eager to get things going regularly. It was nice to dip the toe in the water, and the water's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll have a chat with the big man and see what he says, Big Vulcan. Maybe get to sign a contract or something. What do you reckon?
A contract signing. We'll run some numbers and we'll see what we can come up with.
What do they say? So many hot dogs will get paid in the can of Pepsi.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting hot dogs and Pepsi. Well, now you're talking.
Hey, we're talking the big leagues here.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like for a very, very long time, predominantly I was working with IWA. Obviously, it's where I started, where it's where I felt like was my home. Occasional offshoots to other places, but I'm keen to sort of get out there and like get to know more of the scene and work with more people and improve myself. But hopefully, maybe if anyone even cares to listen, I can help other people improve by working with them and talking about wrestling and stuff like that. Like for the longest time, I didn't give a shit and I kind of was over it. And getting back into it on that creative level, on that sort of theory level and all that sort of stuff, like it reminded me why I love it, and that's why I'm so like happy to be back now.
Yeah, it's good to help new up and coming guys as well. If you can try and give them advice, because you've been around for a while, and it's good to pass that information on to them.
Yeah, there's a
Like
few good young guys at EWA at the moment that I'm enjoying talking to about this stuff. Like, and it's cool when like you can talk about a concept or an idea or whatever, and they sort of go, oh wow, and they see some value in it, and they can like take a piece of something and make it their own, and if they get something out of it, fantastic.
Look for Tyson Gibbs on his Facebook or Instagram page. Also, do follow the Good Snap Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube page. This is us saying goodbye.
See you guys.